right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, Josh, and thank you for tuning into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh. I'll be joined by Robby Incmikoski, making his debut here tonight on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, author and Pirates insider. So get your Pirates calls ready. 412-575-2600 is the number. We definitely have a lot to talk about. And let's bring in Robby right now, who is an author of a book called Sacred Grounds. Tremendous book, a ton of stories. Robby might be the only one in Pittsburgh that has been to every single ballpark, which is an amazing feat. I haven't done it. I've been to every NFL stadium, but not every MLB stadium, so that's a pretty big accomplishment. You did that while covering the Pirates all those years. You have some tremendous stories in that book. Do you have any favorites?
Favorite ballparks, you mean, Rich?
I'll go favorite ballpark and favorite story in your book.
All right, so I don't count the two ballparks I called home, which are Minnesota from 2009 to 2012, and then Pittsburgh, obviously, for 11 years from 2013 to 2023. So I take those two out of the equation, Rich. So with that said, I'm going to go with Baltimore, and here's the reason why. That ballpark has stood the test of time over the years. The warehouse is amazing. There are brass plaques the size of baseballs for the ones that land on Utah Street in right field. It has charm. The ushers are wearing the old school outfits, the old school shirts. They have a really good baseball team. Yeah, a couple of years they've had some rough go in the last 15 years or so, but by and large, they're a competitive team. And Baltimore is just a great baseball city. So I'll say Baltimore is my favorite ballpark outside of Pittsburgh and Minnesota. Those are the two I count as my favorite, and they don't count in the top. Favorite story? There's a lot of good ones, but I'll have to say probably an in-depth look that I got with Larry Doby Jr., son of Larry Doby, who broke the American League color barrier 81 days after Jackie Robinson broke Major League Baseball's color barrier. And he talked about what life was like as Larry's son. And the unique thing about that was when a young Larry Doby Jr. would go home and ask his dad about baseball, Larry Doby Sr. talked about how the good teammates treated him. He had to deal with a lot of the same nonsense that Jackie had to deal with himself, but he only told his kids about the good guys and the teammates that treated him well. So that was a real cool story that we have in our Cleveland chapter for Progressive Field.
Yeah, a lot of cool stories in there. I got an autographed copy in my office, so I would encourage everyone out there to try to get a hold of Robby and get a book. And how can you get it? There it is right there.
Robby, ROBBYINC.com. Thanks, Rich. Thanks for mentioning
just follow him on Twitter. Give us a call here tonight if you want to hear some of his Pirate story. He has a lot of great insight, a lot of great stories about the Pirates. We'll get.
I don't know about Pirates Insider though, Rich.
Well, that's my term for you now.
Like
Pirates Insider. You know the Pirates better than anyone else. That team hasn't changed since you've been over there. And one of the big questions I think that I have and that everyone has right now, what is going on with O'Neal Cruz? I like to move to center field. He's the best athlete on the team, and I always think you put your best athlete either at short or center field. It didn't work out at short. It seems like it's not working out in center field. He's had a year and a half to learn this position, and there's no excuse for the way he misplayed those two balls. Granted, look, the sun was in his way, but he should be prepared in a situation like that and should be wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for that. I was not at Citi Field, so I don't know what the conditions were like. But yeah, certainly was not good to see that happen on opening day. And I think that's what plagued the Pirates a lot last year, specifically in the first 6-7 weeks of the season, Rich, were a lot of the mistakes that were controllable. And I think under Donnie Kelly, that stuff is going to be addressed. And that's not to say it didn't under Derek Shelton or Clint Hurdle or anybody else. I'm not knocking any previous manager by any means by this. But Donnie specifically has a real low tolerance for mental mistakes. Now, I'm not saying with O'Neal Cruz, what happened with him was a mental mistake. Clearly, the sunglasses, did they make a difference? He didn't see the second ball. First ball, he got a bad read. But here's the thing. Trying to learn a position in the big leagues, Rich, and I can just tell you this from experience, working 16 years as a Major League Baseball reporter, it is hard. The big leagues are hard, and I think a lot of fans at times don't quite realize just how hard the game is. I don't know if that makes sense or not. People think, oh, you go from shortstop to center field. It is a whole different skill set that you have to learn. And yes, he's an unbelievably talented player. You see what he can do with the bat. You saw the smash he had in the World Baseball Classic. You see some of the majestic homers that he's hit. We see the arm. We see the speed. It's a matter of putting this together, and I think I'm Captain Obvious in saying that. But the point is, with the right coaching and the right people around him and in the right environment, I would not be surprised to see him take advantage of all the talent that he has. And I hope that happens because a really good O'Neal Cruz, in addition to the other guys that they've added, I think they're going to make the playoffs. That's just my personal opinion. But when you look at the lack of mental errors I think this team is going to make early in the season, I think that's going to put them in position to be competitive later in the year.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to make the playoffs too. But sometimes when he has those mental lapses in the outfield, that cost him at the plate too. I definitely think you need his lineup, his bat in the lineup. I don't know if he should be batting leadoff, but he should be in the lineup somewhere. Of
course.
And I think with some of the additions that they added to this lineup, now that will make him even more valuable and make him, probably a better hitter, I would imagine. So the other big question, and that's our Penn West University question. I just scanned that QR code in the right-hand corner of your screen. Should Conor Griffin be on the opening day roster? I was all for it, and then when you think about it more and more, I would rather see Conor Griffin here in the long term. And if it costs the Pirates a couple months here, I'm okay with it. I wanted the excitement and the optimism. I wanted to go down to the ballpark and feel the energy there and have him there. But I don't want him to get off to a slow start. So I think he needs some seasoning in AAA, whether that's a month or two, just to get ready and come up here. Do you agree or not?
No.
No.
No. I disagree. And I'm going to tell you why you're wrong.
He's batting 1 and some change in spring training.
Are you, Rich?
I'm just calling it the way it is.
I might have to walk over and
look,
punch
and
you right
even
in
if
the
he's
hair
a
right now?
5-WAR player, Robbie,
Rich,
it's 2 wins.
hold on. I understand that, right? And that's a fair point. When you look at a team like the Pirates, okay, and you could look at a number of other teams. The Kansas City Royals in the mid-2010s are a perfect example of a team that took advantage of their window. They won the American League title in 2014. They busted through and won the World Series in 2015 over the New York Mets. They had a homegrown core. They added in free agency. They added via trades. Look at any team that has won consistently, or at least a team that has taken advantage of their window. Look at their core, okay? Then look at the additions that they made. When you look at this Pirates team and where they are as a franchise, first of all, you got the greatest pitcher in the world in Paul Skenes. I don't care what happened on Thursday. That was an absolute abomination, and he's going to come out and dominate in Cincinnati in his next start. That's the first thing. The second thing is they made the additions that they think are necessary, and I thought they were really good additions. You look at Ryan O'Hearn, Brandon Lau, Marcell Ozuna, Jake Mangum's an energy guy. I don't know why, and this is just my personal opinion. I could get crushed for it. I've never done opinion shows, so I'm happy to be able to talk Pirates baseball and offer an opinion.
Yeah.
He should absolutely, Rich, be in the big leagues, and there's no question about it. Because I think he's going to come up at some point in time, and I think he's going to light the league on fire, and I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year. That's my personal opinion, and I could be completely wrong. But this guy has such a high floor. You talk about he was raised in Flowood, Mississippi. He comes from a great family. He's got a strong support system around him. He's got obviously tremendous natural ability. Take those spring training numbers and forget about him. It just don't even take that into consideration, right? I mean, you do if he's batting like .50, okay, .050,
yeah.
Okay, right? But you look at the average. These are spring training games. When you look at the natural ability, what is he going to get? In the 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks are going to keep him in the minors. You know he's coming up anyways in early May at the latest, right? Paul Skenes was up May 11th, I believe, in 2024. It's going to be the same thing for Conor Griffin. We see it all the time throughout baseball. So let's just state the obvious. We know why he's in AAA.
Yeah.
But with the new CBA, when he wins the Rookie of the Year or finishes second, he gets that year of service time anyways, right?
He's fourth in odds, right?
What's that?
He's fourth in odds, I think, right?
I
Something
believe
like
he's
that.
fourth. Yeah, I think he's fourth. We just checked a couple minutes ago. But the point is this. Skenes, Keller, Braxton Ashcraft, Bubba Chandler, Jared Jones coming back at some point in time this season. Jose Urquidy's been a starter in Houston. You look at the lineup. A good O'Neal Cruz. I'm not talking about a good, like a productive, at his peak O'Neal Cruz. Brian Reynolds. The other guys we talked about that are in this lineup. Why in the world is Conor Griffin not in the starting lineup? He absolutely should be in the big leagues right now, and I stand by that opinion. And if you disagree, Rich, you are incorrect.
After I heard that, I got Bucko fever again. Thanks, Robbie. Let's
Rich, you're my
go,
boy,
Bucks.
man. Hey, I like you, Rich. We've never done TV together, so don't screw it up, all right?
All right, 412-575-2600 is the number. Back in a couple of minutes to take your phone calls. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. This is our Xfinity Tweet of the Night. This is from Foul Territory. The Yankees tried to acquire Paul Skenes at the trade deadline last season, but the Pirates didn't even listen to their offer per John Heyman. The Yankees were prepared to offer 4 top prospects. That was the right move by the Pirates, Robbie. You need this guy for the next couple years because he probably won't be here beyond 2029 when his contract's up. They got to win now. They have a short window. That's why I think they blew it last year. So they got to take advantage of every start that he makes.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, the Yankees wanted Paul Skenes. Yeah, I want to be Taylor Swift's sidekick on her tour, okay? I mean, obviously they want Paul Skenes. He's the best.
They're going to get him in 29 probably.
We'll see what the future holds. I mean, we got to see what this next CBA looks like this is the last year of the CBA. But here's the thing. We see this all the time. 4 top prospects. Didn't we see this before with the Pirates trading an ace pitcher for prospects?
Yeah.
And that's not to say why it did or didn't work out. And I'm not here to rip the Pirates, and I will not rip the Pirates because they treated me tremendously in my time there. But what I will say is there's no way you cannot replace Paul Skenes.
No.
You can replace prospects. You know what I'm saying? Like you can,
and you got to end that prospect
right,
cycle.
Like prospects
Robbie,
are good.
I'm tired of it. You got to win.
And then you have to look at your development system first of all. What are we doing right? What are we not doing? Have we been able to put prospects in position to have success in the big league level? That's obviously been a little bit of a bugaboo for the Pirates over the last decade and a half. And we've seen the results. We've seen guys get traded away and have success elsewhere. That's obvious. But Paul Skenes, however you want to say it, they drafted him first overall. They made the right call. It was Skenes or Dylan Cruz, his LSU teammate. He went to the Washington Nationals. The Pirates absolutely deserve a ton of credit for Paul Skenes for drafting him. He wins Rookie of the Year. He wins a Cy Young. I think he's going to win another Cy Young because I think he's the greatest pitcher in the world, number one. You don't trade that. You cannot replace the greatest pitcher in the world. You can get a couple prospects, but what do they turn out to be? A solid starter? You know?
Who knows? Like I said, let's cash in the prospect.
But I'd rather have Paul Skenes.
All right, let's get to Chuck in Uniontown. How you doing, Chuck? You may be the second biggest Pirates fan behind me in Pittsburgh. What's up?
Good evening, thank you. Yes, I take a different stance. That O'Neill Cruz situation yesterday, that needs to be, he needs to be in Indianapolis. He needs to be taught because this is not the first time or the second time or the third time.
Yeah.
This has been going on for 3 or 4 years, and it's got to stop because, first of all, this is demoralizing for the other 25 players on the team who put out, who put out and play hard.
You know, Robbie's been in those locker rooms. We're all human. You know that it's frustrating when a player makes those plays and loses games like that.
Oh, yeah.
You can't continue to be a defensive liability like Cruz, but I don't think sending him down to AAA is the answer. He's going to work his way through it because he's too dynamic of a player.
Yeah. First of all, let me say how cool it is, Chuck. I want to thank you, Chuck, for being such a tremendous fan. I know how much you love this franchise. I know you watched our games. I listen to you on the post-game show, and it's cool to do a phone call with you, Chuck, first of all, man, and I hope you're doing well. Second of all, I would just respectfully disagree with that. I agree with Rich on this, Chuck, and here's the reason why. He is, while he's not a polished product right now, obviously there's some deficiencies, as we saw on display. If he has the aptitude and the ability to pick up on this and puts the right work ethic into it, he follows the guys that have had success in the big leagues. Could it be Marcell Ozuna? I don't know. We'll see. But you cannot send O'Neill Cruz down to AAA at this point in time. This is your window to compete to win a division, to compete to make a playoff spot. And if they could somehow catch fire, we've seen it so many times. Look at the Toronto Blue Jays last year, Chuck. They went on one heck of a run. Vlad Guerrero Jr. led the way, right? So I just think this is their window, and you got to keep O'Neill Cruz in the big league.
Yeah, he's potentially a 30-30 player. Let's go to Wayne in Allison Park. How you doing, Wayne?
Hi, guys. Guys, tell me what I'm missing here. I've been preaching. My call is about O'Neill Cruz.
All right.
Yeah.
O'Neill Cruz. And he butchered shortstop. He's not a center fielder. And for years, I do not understand why they have not tried this guy at first base if they want to pursue his potential.
You know, Wayne, look, that's a great call, but at some point you got to stop changing positions. You know, I agree with him being the center fielder because he's the best. He's probably one of the best athletes. But that experiment has to come to an end if he's going to continue to play like this. But he does make some good plays. I just don't like sometimes you see that. I don't know if I should term it as laziness, but it seems like he's just like after he missed that ball, he just kind of jogged out there. No effort.
Yeah, I mean, again, Wayne, you know, like I said, look, I never played the game at a big level, but I was up close, had a front row seat for a decade and a half. I cannot describe to you just how hard it is to learn a new position. I understand how it looks to fans. I understand how it looks to the media, but I'm telling you, the amount of work that these players put into learning a new position is unmatched, and it is hard. You have to study positioning. They have these cards that they keep in their pockets, where to go, probability where baseballs are going to be hit. And in this era in analytics, it's just not that simple as saying, put him at first base. He could probably play first base, but when you look at that arm, you're like, holy smokes, what this guy
Why would you
can
put
do.
him there?
It's the talent is tantalizing. If he can just unlock it, this dude's going to be an all-star.
They got too many right fielders. You can't move him over there. Let's go to Jimmy in Millville. How you doing, Jimmy?
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey.
I would just like to know why O'Neill Cruz was not taken out of the game after his 2 blunders in center field.
You know, that is a great question. Robbie, what do you think?
Well, first inning, I mean, are you really going to bench your starting center fielder after 1 inning?
Yeah, but he can be mentally shot at that point.
But
you know, if I miss a putt, if I miss a 2-foot putt on the first green, it's going to bother me for the next 5 holes.
Rich, seriously with the attitude right now? No, I don't. But if he sits after 1 inning, what kind of precedent are you setting for the rest of the team? If that happens.
I get it, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Look, here's the difference. Physical errors, yeah, they're not good, but you can at least understand they're physical errors. Mental errors are inexcusable. Now, I wouldn't say he had a mental error because the first ball, it looked like he just had a bad read. And the second one, he couldn't see it. So, I don't know. I mean, opening day, you bench your starting center fielder after an inning. Now, you're a month or 2 in the season, he does that, okay, maybe it's a different story, but not 1 inning into the season.
All right, we got to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls and an answer to this question here coming up next. Stay right there. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh along with Robby Incmikoski making his debut here on the Nightly Sports Call. And Robbie, we're almost out of time here. I want to get your prediction. I'm thinking 84 to 86 wins. Is that enough to get them a wild card? I don't know if they're a division winner. How do you think this season's going to unfold?
I think it could go either way, and I think that 84 to 86, Rich, sounds pretty accurate in my opinion. And I'll tell you why. They won 76 and 24. I'm drawing a blank on what they won. It was 71, 72, but I think they could go mid-upper 80s if things go their way.
Yeah, I think that would be a good season. It's 1 game. You chalk it up at 1 game, mistakes. I think they can get back on track. You got a favorable schedule here, and I'm excited about opening day coming up next Friday. Hey, if all the callers that are on hold right now, please call back tomorrow because Robbie will be back here with me tomorrow night. Thanks a lot, Robbie. We'll see you
Rich,
tomorrow.
I enjoyed it,
Hopefully
buddy.
we'll see you on KDKA News coming up after the NCAA tournament.